All right, hey, I'm shooting this video here a little bit out of frustration, so it's going to be kind of a rant, but this rant is actually going to help you because I see this kind of thinking all the time, and honestly, I've been doing this now for so long, having spent way over $30 million on advertising for myself and clients now. I mean, if you go all the way back to when I first started direct response advertising my insurance business in 2005, I've done this on every medium imaginable. And in today's digital age, I can tell you that the majority of times that people have problems achieving the results that they're looking for with their advertising, it always comes down to their thinking. So I put this video out that you're seeing behind me. I put it out on YouTube and across a whole bunch of other places. I'm just kind of going through my social stuff and responding to comments and things. And I put this ad out the other day that taught a strategy for how to take a campaign from $100 per day to $1,000 per day on Facebook using the campaign budget optimization and be able to maintain cost per acquisition. So to effectively 10x the spend or 10x your sales without blowing it out of proportion and actually keeping it profitable. Very, very profitable if you set your numbers properly. And so I got this comment here that I'm looking at that came in yesterday. And this guy's thanking me for the video. He's saying he tried the method 5 times. And he says, sadly, only 2, and I think this is a typo here because he says 5 here. I don't think he would have done this 25 times. I think that's a typo, but 2 out of the $5,000 ad sets work. He says, sadly, only 2. Okay? And then he says they only work for a day. Well, that all depends on some of the things that you're looking at there, and that may be an issue that comes into play. But here's the thing. It should not be a bad thing that 2 out of 5 things worked, and inside of this video, what I've done is I've shown how to set some controls with automations to actually shut the ones off that don't work right away. So like if this example was meant for e-commerce, and so typically the price points or the CPAs we're trying to get at are like, $20 to $40. So, I say to set the campaign so that if we don't have any sales or we're not hitting our numbers within the first $40 to $80 spend, the whole thing is going to shut off. So that way we don't blow through a whole bunch of money. So there really isn't any lost money in the ones that didn't work, the 3 instances that didn't work. And the ones that did work, because of the 10xing of the amount of sales and the budget, that more than makes up for any loss that you would have had in these ones that didn't convert. So it's never a bad thing, because if you think about it, you had let's say you spent $80 on each one of these 3 that didn't work. That's $240 that was spent. But if you get 2 of them that do work at $1,000 and your CPA is $20, you're getting 50 sales, per ad set in one day, right? So you got 100 sales from those 2 that worked. And if your, profit is $30, $40 a sale or whatever, you're coming out way ahead than anything that you spent on ads, plus, anything that might have been lost on the ones that didn't work. So that's the whole thing here, is we're just trying to find things that work and get us to scale. Now, if it poops out after a day, that could be any number of things. It could be the audiences are too small. It could be the creative got worn out. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do to those ad sets to keep them fresh. And that's what you got to do. That's the name of the game, is once you get the thing that's working, don't expect that it's going to necessarily stay that way. That's where you got to earn your keep in this business. It's with Facebook ads, it's getting harder and harder and harder to have anything just sit there and work for an elongated period of time, at least without being touched. Okay, so you can do all kinds of stuff like duplicating the ads within the campaign and giving the campaign more ads. You can duplicate the campaign and start it over with the existing ad and get more days out of it. But what's best is to just keep feeding that ad set more creative, and because as you expand the budgets, Facebook's going to need more stuff to show the audience. Okay, So that's a completely other, issue that you got to deal with, and it's all circumstantial, right? Because sometimes you can run these things and, your offers in one market where $1,000 a day is no problem, right? That's another factor here is the market that you're in. Okay. So, but the biggest thing here is you never, ever, ever want to consider something that does work and works a fair amount of the time. I mean, it's almost half the time this thing worked for you. 2 out of 5, 2.5 out of 5 is half. Right? So, like, that is not a bad thing. And many people, and that's kind of the mindset here that I think is a dangerous point here is that, people see something where if it doesn't, they feel like if it doesn't work 100% of the time, then it's a bad thing. Nothing works 100% of the time. And as long as you can protect the downside in your testing and you can uncover some of these nuggets of gold, that's where you can really, really, really go far with your ads and with scaling, right? So get the strategy to work, you find the things that work, and then you get into this area where, if things don't elongate, now you start looking at how do we elongate that, right? Make sense? Go out and make your ads pay. To the victor belong the spoils. Jason Orang.